Hello everybody! Today we're going to see how I draw Anna from Frozen 2. Okay, pencils first and then Sharpies. So if you don't want to watch the pencil portion of the video where I sketch the entire thing out, look in the description and you'll see a link that you can click on that will take you to the Sharpie portion of the video. There's even going to be one for color. So for those of you that are going to stick around, I'm going to start off with a quick sketch for myself and get us going. And the other thing about this is I don't know what she looks like. I mean, I know what she looks like, but the movie isn't out yet, so depends on when you see this, or depending on when you see this, this may or may not be accurate. You know, I can't say. I mean, I got an idea, you know, but I'm kind of going by, I think I want to do, I'm going to have her holding that sword, you know, that little ice sword, which I don't think she uses in the movie. It's just one little quick scene in the trailer, you know? And so it may not be in the movie at all. And so when you're watching this right now, you may be laughing at me. That's okay, because I'll take that. It's no big deal. But just letting you know that if it is inaccurate, I know, no big deal. I'm okay with that. But I am going to try to, you know, work with what I have, do what I can, and make something fun for you. So that being said, I think I know where I'm going with this. So I mean the flow of the costume and whatnot. That's one thing that's actually nice. That I will say thank you to all the cosplayers and Halloween costume people, because they do the research. They look for these costumes and try to get it as accurate as possible, so they can, you know, wear the costumes and dress up like these characters for conventions and things like that. So that being said, a lot of people do a lot of research as to the accuracy of these kind of things, so it helps me, so I could just look up these cosplayers and Halloween costume people, and they kind of guide me to what's right and what's wrong, or what I should and shouldn't be doing, you know? So that's kind of the nice thing. And I have to thank those people. So that's kind of the nice thing too about, you know, I know it's animated. I get it. It's not real. But a lot of designers, a lot of people put a lot of thought into this. Concept artists, actual, like, what do you call it? Costume people, you know, put thought into this. So I kind of want to honor that and do it right, you know? And so I'm kind of having my costume flow a little bit, and I'm just, again, guessing as to what it's supposed to be. So yeah, again, I'm kind of flowing the material out, kind of in an action pose, I guess you could say. And what I mean by that is it's not just hanging down. I mean, it is, obviously, but I have a little bit of flow and movement in the billowing of the dress slash cape slash costume, you know? It's not really a dress. I mean, because is it a dress? I don't know. I guess that's the other thing about clothing that I don't understand, because hey, I'm a man that doesn't wear dresses, so I don't know what's what, you know? So this thing has what do you call it? It has a cape to it. It's kind of like this. There's a poncho and over a dress, you know? So I don't know what you would call it. I just learned about ponchos the other day. I have someone I know. I was like, oh, that's pretty. What is that? Like, it's a poncho. It's like, oh, yeah, I got it. But I didn't know. I didn't know what to call it. Because I was like, that looks like it's a scarf that you know, it fits over your whole body, and, you know. I don't know about these things. But it looks pretty on people. You know, I'll say that. So let me try to find a picture. There it is. The sword, the little ice sword there. And I guess I don't have to be too accurate about this, considering, like I said, it's just one quick little shot in the trailer, and who knows if it's going to be in the movie. Right. Oops. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so about the face. This is a Disney face, so obviously I have two ways to do it. I kind of did this with what's the other girl, her sister? Ooh, I'm drawing a blank right now. But when I did her, I realized that, you know, I'm gonna make them more real faces than a Disney face, just because you know, I want to, because this is how I draw. That's what it comes down to. And so, like I said, I'm kind of doing this more realistic than Disney big eyes. Just a little. Just because that's how I draw. But it will still be very stylized, very, very much, you know, cartoonish Disney. That kind of thing. Sorry, I got quiet. A lot of times when I go quiet, it's because I'm concentrating, and I lose track of my train of thought. Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. Okay. And let's see, let's give her some some flow of the locks. So sure, we're gonna flock. We're gonna flow the locks. This is what we're gonna do. And I'm just kind of giving it my own little whippy style. Okay, I think I'm happy with this. I think I can build off of this. So I'm gonna erase some of these sketch lines, and that way when we ink it in, it'll stand out a little bit more with the Sharpie, not so much the pencil lines. And what I like to say is we're gonna stick with the confidence lines. So the sketch lines, like anything in life that's sketchy, disappears. You don't want to follow those. You want to follow the lines that left you confident and strong. And ooh, look at all that. Look at that. That's just smearing my sketch. I got to try to clean that up a little bit with the cleaner side. There we go. Whew, that erased quite a bit, but I can work with that. Because I did the sketch, I know where I'm going, and I can still see it. It's kind of a ghost of an image, so I can still work with that. Okay, so let me just clean this off, and I say we jump over to the Sharpie section of the video, and let's welcome all the people that skipped to this section. Welcome, skippers. Welcome to the Sharpie portion of the video. Thank you for joining in on any part of this video. I'm going to be working with a Sharpie fine point and a Sharpie pen, mostly the fine point, but the pen is for the finer details that I can't quite get with the fine point. It's the finer fineness of the fine point, finally. Okay, so I'm going to use the Sharpie pen first and work with the face, because again, those details are too tiny for this. And what I was talking about in the sketch is that I'm not going to go for the Disney style look. I'm going for a more realistic, more comic book look, I guess. So I'm just going to use my techniques for the way I draw, because remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw, and we'll meet somewhere in between and see how this comes out. So I'm going to start off with the top of the eyes first, the eyelids, so I can make sure I've got them basically level to the way that I have the head looking. So I'm just going to draw the top lid like this, the other one over here like this, see where I am. It's a little high there, but that's okay. I can make this work, and see if I've got it right with where I want the face to be. So I think I have it where I want it, so I'm going to draw the roundness of the pupils, or the iris, right? That's the color part. So I'm just going to kind of bring that in just real lightly, real tiny, and just a little bit. All I can do is add just a little bit of the pupil, the black part, right? Because these Sharpies will bleed a lot on this paper. I'm trying to give you everyday material, Sharpies, regular copy paper, although it's 11 by 17, that you can just find around your house. These aren't expensive materials or supplies. So I'm just going to build on the eye here, and I can't draw the underneath of the eye because, like I said, these Sharpies will bleed, so I'm trying to limit what I add, okay? So now I'm going to add just a little bit of like a cat eye. I know she doesn't have that kind of makeup, but that's the best thing I could do to give makeup to a character that I can't go into too much detail with. Like I said, if you're drawing with a pencil and you can draw underneath there, go for it. I let the iris pretend to be the bottom of the eye right there, and that kind of guides your eyeball into believing there's an eyeball. Okay? So, I'm going to give her some eyebrows now. Like this. Real simple. Nothing flashy, you know, it's Anna. She's a average girl. Well, I hate to say average, that's not the word I mean. She doesn't have over the top makeup, even though I gave her cat eyes, right? See if I can round that off a little bit without it starting to bleed. Ooh, it's starting to bleed. I gotta walk away, Let me try to match this one over there. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. So for the bridge of the nose, I'm just gonna give it a little bit, something like that, and that's all I'm gonna do. Because any more with this, and it's gonna start to get all crazy. So we're gonna let your eye believe instead of draw it all in. And so I'm gonna do that for the nose, and maybe bring it down a little bit for the bulbous part of the front. And that's all I can do. Like I said, I want to do a lot more, but it's going to bleed too much if I do. So now I'm just going to give her a mouth. Just like this. And I'm starting to lean this way a little bit, so I'm going to have to recalibrate my drawing. But I'll build off of this. See if I can fix this with the top lip. Kind of fix it like that. And bottom lip like this. It's a little crooked. It's a little over that way a little bit, but that's okay. Again, this is how I draw. I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to start to add in some other features. So it's her chin to her jawline, and I'm going to start to thicken up my lines too, because I'm about to switch over to the big Sharpie, and it's really thick. So that's okay that some of these lines, and I'm using the thickness in some of these too to kind of correct my lines. So that helps as well. So, and you'll see what I'm talking about once I switch over to this, how thick it is, how much bigger it gets. So I'm just going to do something like this. Let's see if it's level for the ears. Just a little bit of subtlety, basically, because I'm going to hide them with hair. Okay. So speaking of hair, let's give her some hairline. So I got her top of her hair like this, and we're just going to kind of do a little bit of play around with a little bit of wispy whips like that, and I got the top of it like this. And I don't want to draw all the hairlines. I mean, I say this every time. I want to draw all the hairlines, but we can't because we've got too much to do, and we want color to take care of some of that. So I'm kind of playing around with drawing a few lines to give us some edges like this. Oops, some of that's coming out a little too thick, so I'm just going to kind of compensate and fix these. All right, so I got her hair parted in the front, and then it's going to be pulled back. So I'm going to start to pull it back here, and bring it around like this. Go ahead and give her that front edge right there. It came out a little shaky, but that's okay. You know, color will hide some of that and take care of it. And I'm gonna start to pull the hair back like this. Okay, so now I'm just gonna kind of play around with these lines. So it's kind of back, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Okay. And I'm just kind of hiding some of the mistakes I do as I'm building it, and that's okay. So yeah, so just do what you want here with the hair. Like I said, I'm trying not to go too crazy, even though every time I say that, I add more lines. It's my what do you call it? My problem I have. I want to do more, you know? So I also drew the head way too high too. I realized that. So I'm gonna have to compensate again by bringing the body up just a little bit according to my sketch, okay? So let's see, I've got her hair pulled back. I'm gonna have her neck, her little shirt line like this. And that will guide me as to where the rest of it's gonna go. I'm going to switch over to the other Sharpie in a second. I just wanted to kind of sketch out the edge here with this tiny Sharpie, because the nice thing is I can go over with the other Sharpie and thicken and hide stuff if I need to. Okay, not too bad, not too high. Like I said, a little higher than I wanted it to be, but it's not too bad. I can make this work. All right, so let's see, let's do that hair like I was talking about that I was doing. I kind of need to stop though, because I got to draw her shoulder edge, and I need the big Sharpie for that. So I'll just kind of do something like this, just to give us some hairlines. Okay, all right, so I'm switching over to this now to give us the other edges, and I'm going to start to work on her shoulders. Okay, so not too much higher. I can get away with this. That's not too bad. But see how thick this is? This is what I was saying. This is why I was trying to match how thick that is, so it doesn't look so odd with thick and thin lines that are too big or too small. And so now I'm going to play around with the hair sketch that I did and just kind of finish this off and kind of do something like that. And again, I just kind of did my own thing. This is kind of, you know, some crazy lines that, look how much that's bleeding. Woo, woo. I gotta be careful. I gotta watch what I'm doing. Okay. This'll work. Okay, and again, thickening it up just a little bit. Again, if you're using pencil, you don't have to worry about this. I'm just doing it just to match this other Sharpie, and I hope it's not going to bleed too much. It's already looking like it's bleeding a lot. Let's see. All right, I did it off paper, so we'll see what happens here. So let's see. So now I'm going to build on the. Let's see. There's a chain holding her little cape together. I guess it's a cape now. I was talking about during the sketch that I don't know what it is, just because I don't know, you know, clothing. So I was like, do we call it a cape? Is it a shirt? What exactly is it? So I'm just going to do that to connect it. And so now I'm going to play around with the design of it versus like the sketch that I did, like where it's going to go. And I really don't like how much that's bleeding. I'm really afraid to keep going with this Sharpie for some reason. I don't know if it's a bad one or what, but you know what? Let's just keep going. Let's see what happens. So I have it kind of flowing out like this. So I'm going to draw the edge like this, just to keep us all cohesive. Oh, come on. Okay, so here I've got it fell apart, and my lines just kept going over each other, so the more I tried to fix it, the more it started to bleed. So let's see what happens. I'm going to draw the rest of her dress too, just so I have some start-stop points so I know where I am. And that'll give me edges, you know. And let's see, so I've got it kind of flowing as well, just because of the way her costume is, or in my sketch, just to give it like a little bit of a design. You know, just a look, so to speak. All right, that might work. That might work. I think I can get away with this. And I hate to say get away like I'm pulling a scam on you guys. I'm just saying that I just don't want it to bleed. So I'm trying to decide how far I want to take this costume, you know, this design with this Sharpie, you know. Okay, I think that's gonna work. Okay, so again, I'm gonna bring her arms up just a little bit, but that's okay, it'll work with the rest of the sketch. I just have to start a little higher than where I was. So let's work on her arm over here. I'm gonna bring it down, and her arm's kind of up, so I've got it kind of bent and folded right there to her wrist. I'm gonna draw the back of her arm like this. And so since I have it bent, I'm gonna draw a few creases and folds. I already have some with the Sharpie I started, but I'm gonna do a few more little accents. So this is bleeding way too much. I don't know why, I really don't. So I normally do the hands with it, but I'm not gonna do the hands with it this time because again, it's bleeding way too much and I don't get it. So we'll see what happens. So anyway, I'm gonna draw the thumb like this, middle finger like this, and I got it kind of splayed out like that is basically how I have it. Like that. The finger like that. The ring finger, sorry. And then the pinky finger like that. And then I usually kind of just draw some finger lines just to, you know, give it some action, some life, you know. Something like this. Now I'm going to thicken it up just a little bit because, like I said, usually I use the big Sharpie so it doesn't look so off, like compared to the rest. And with a real thin line like that, it stands out. And that looks good, thin lines, whenever you want to do an accent or something like this, you know, thick versus thin. But I don't want that hand to stand out, except for, you know, color. Okay, so I'm gonna jump back over here to the big Sharpie. So I'm gonna do her shoulder down here like this, and then her arm to her sleeve. And I've got some creases and folds from where it's coming through her, you know, her what do we call this? The cape. Ooh, which I forgot. I got it going back like this too. Same thing. I got it going back like this. Just because it's got a sleeve going through it, right? Oh yeah, I was doing this. And I'm not gonna try to do it too crazy. I just wanna do a few of them like that, just to, you know, give it something that it's material. It's got folds and fun, you know? So here I'm gonna draw her hand. And this one's holding the sword. Ooh, I remember I was gonna use a smaller Sharpie, but that's okay, let's just keep going. And it's basically holding like this, so all we gotta really draw is just that shape. That's holding the sword, and there's not much else we can draw because, like I said, the sword is on the other side, or the sword is pretty much hiding all the other detail, you know, because it's wrapped around it like that. And that's all we can really do. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the sword, just real simple ice sword. Nothing crazy, but I do want to do, let's see how I'm going to do this. I'm going to do, it's got like these ice shards on it. Something like that. I don't know. I think that's good. And we'll just draw a line like that. Just some kind of sword line, you know? Okay. All right. So now we just got to finish up a little bit of the material. So I got her cape flowing back like this. And And again, it's all kind of, you know, out in the action pose. And I'm gonna kind of follow that I'm going back here like that. So I'm gonna pick it back up right about here, like that. Look good? Awesome. Okay, and so now I'm gonna finish the inside of her dress, and she does have like this belt looking thing. Actually, that's closed off too. She's got this belt looking thing that, again, I'm just going by pictures of cosplay people, costume, you know, and they've got like this wrapped up material in here that I can't quite see what it is, but it's something like that. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna draw her dress. So this is flowing like that. It means it's kind of open. I'm gonna kind of bring it back in here like this, and I can draw the other part of her dress like this. Okay, perfect. And it's got some color to it, but we're not gonna worry about that. We're just gonna draw the rest of her, which is just boots. And basically I'm gonna draw one side, the other side like that, bring it down to the heel. It's kind of at you, so the toes are right about there, coming in like this. Same thing with that side, there's not much we have to do. Like that. Bring a heel up, bring it back down, touch it like that. And then I'm just gonna draw some crease lines from where, you know, it's got wear and tear and use. So just a few lines like that. I'll go ahead and just draw that heel. And so here, let's give her a little bit of a heel on that side to bring that out. Okay, so there you go. I say we take care of the rest with color. So that is Anna from Frozen 2. So here is my colored version. You could do it however you like. I just thought I'd show you how I decided to color it. If you'd like to color it like this, you can always pause the video here and use the coloring techniques that I used, or you can just make it your own. Remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures of how I draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button to be updated about each new video.